Okay, how do we build platforms at CRED, right? So how do we decide what the platform should be? So the problem starts from here, right? So a developer or a particular team has a challenge thrown at them, right? So let's for a moment take the example of reminders, which is easy to understand. So the first team who got the problem statement, right? So they have to send out build reminders to the customers. This is the problem statement given to them. They could have chosen to build it within their system, right? So that should be the first reaction, right? So if I don't think about the future problems or problems across the organization, most likely I'm going to build it specifically for my own requirement. So that's where the four quadrant, the known unknown approach, right? So come into play, right? So known knowns, right? So these are the ones which we know for sure, right? And we are very much aware of these, right? So we know that this is a functionality that we have to build, right? Simple thing like customer should be able to pay their rent and maintenance bills. This is given as a requirement. Everybody knows that this is exactly what we have to build. Known unknowns, right? So these are things that we know it's going to come up, but we don't know how or in what form, right? So think of like customers can also pay other forms of bills in the future, right? So we know that rent and maintenance is something that's given as a requirement, right? So and our product and business teams are thinking about making these as functionalities for a customer, but that could be something else that might come up in the future, right? So people know it would come up, they don't know what and when. Factoring this in, promoting this discussion, asking questions to the product and business team, hey, do you think this is going to come up in the future? Can the customer pay other forms of bill? If yes, what could that be? You don't need to give me clarity, but tell me what forms of what categories can come up in the future. Then we have the unknown knowns, right? So this is slightly tricky. Think of like regulatory guidelines for bill payments, right? So we may not know, right? So maybe the legal team knows, right? So maybe someone else or somewhere knows that there are some guidelines. Understanding this is also equally important. We cannot just build a platform, right? So which doesn't focus on regulatory guidelines. And finally, the Murphy's law, right? So nothing much we could do, right? So the unknown unknowns, right? So we leave it, right? So I mean, there's nothing much to do here, but asking these questions, right? So we encourage our developers, right? So to ask these questions at the time of the requirement gathering phase, right? So when they see similar problems, they build it as a platform, right? So they know that team B is also going to need it in some time. So let me build it as a platform and promote the learning and knowledge to across the org, right? So someone else encounters a problem, they know that, hey, there is already a platform available which I can make use of, right? So the example that I gave on remainder, right? So it's not just bill payment remainder. There's also reminders for jackpots. There's also like kind of like a reminder to fetch the statements, right? So can we make use of the same platform to enable that?